Okay, so here I am with our newest student, Olive, and very first session on the leash here. So wanted to go break down a few things here. Hi, Mama. Hi, Mama. Hi, Mama. So let's see, she hasn't even been here for a full 24 hours yet, so she's still getting used to things, opening up, getting comfortable, getting used to us. But so far, so good. She's eating all of her food. She's taking some treats. I'm not sure about, let's see right now. She's a little distracted here. Okay, but she's taking some over there. So first things first, okay, so she's about a year old and we're gonna be just working on all of her full foundation, right? But first things first, I wanna show you, come here, Mama. She came in on, these are her tools, okay? So she came in on her own prong with her own leather leash. I will be swapping this leash out for a 6-foot leash. This is nice, but I think it's 4 feet. And so I would prefer a little bit longer when we're working on our obedience, right? So, but for now, we'll use that. And then, come here, Mama. Well, actually, you know what? Cynthia already adjusted the collar. So one thing I was gonna show you was that her collar was too big, okay? So it was too big and it was falling down. But now that I'm looking at it right here, I was gonna show you that it was too large and that was the first thing that we were gonna need to change. Okay, but it's fitted correctly now and we can keep it up high up here. Before it was falling down even to kind of going around her leather collar, right, which is way too big. So making sure that your collar is sized correctly is like the first part, right? So good, we're sized up there correctly. Hi, Mama. Good girl, good girl, good girl, good girl. Hi, Mama. Hi. So let's just, Olive. Good girl. Olive. Olive. Good girl. Okay, so she's not too interested in the food right now, so all I'm gonna use is just my verbal praise and a little bit of physical praise. Good girl, to just pinpoint Olive. Good girl, when she's doing what I want, which Olive right now, it's really just gonna be responding to her name. Good girl. Good girl. Yay. Olive. So I'm gonna guide her towards me. Good girl with that leash. And then as soon as she starts to come to me, I'm gonna go ahead and, Olive. Good, I'm gonna go ahead and give her some verbal praise there. Okay, Olive. Good girl, good. Come on. Good, Olive. Yes, good girl. Good girl. So we really have to teach her how to start paying attention, following us. Olive. Good girl. Responding to us. Okay. Olive. Good girl. So she's a big girl and her owner can't really walk her right now, hence why she tried to go to the prong collar to get a little bit more control. Olive. But again, sometimes, Olive, just simply making a collar change isn't going to be enough, right? It might give you a little bit more physical control and, you know, might stop a lot of the behaviors that you might be seeing just because of that new control, Olive. But good girl, we're still gonna have to do a lot of teaching, right? So one thing, again, you wanna make sure that you're always adjusting your collar, making sure that your collar is high up on the neck. Okay, okay, Mama, come on. Olive, good girl, good girl, good girl, good girl. Olive, good girl, Mama, good girl. Good girl, yes, good girl, good girl, yes, yes, good girl, good girl. So she wants that treat, yes, that's good girl, there we go. So just in a span of a couple of minutes, she's already eating the treat. Good girl, yes, good girl, good girl. Okay, so she's smelling something. You can see something has her attention. Okay, so therefore she's not gonna eat that food right there, so we'll just keep going. Good girl. Olive. Good. Good girl, yes, good. Good. Olive. Good girl, good girl, good girl. Olive. Good girl, good girl. Yes, good. No, you don't want that one? Okay, let's go. All right, so let's just keep doing this right here. Olive. Just keep bringing her back. Good girl, good girl. Olive. Good girl, good girl. And you can see how she kind of wraps around me like this, and then she ends up on my right side here. Olive. Good girl. That's okay. I'm not worried about any of that right now. Olive. Good. Just working on her responding to me. Olive. Good girl. Good girl. Essentially also responding to the collar, because before she was not responding to the collar. Again, she was willing to completely pull and put all the tension. But again, the collar was too big. So, Olive. Good girl. Good girl. If the collar is too big, they might be completely okay with putting all the pressure on themselves, right? And again, a lot of time they don't even care about pressure, right? So, Olive. It's not just, good girl, I'm gonna put a collar on my dog, it's gonna contract on their neck and they're gonna stop doing the behavior. Half of the dogs might, and half of the dogs might just continue, good, and actually just build resiliency to the collar, which essentially is building resiliency to us. Olive, good girl. Because again, I'm not trying to teach her to respond to the collar right now, I'm trying to teach her to respond to me, right? Olive, I'm calling her, good girl, good girl, good girl, and I'm just guiding her with the leash. So it's coming from me. Good girl, mama. Olive, yeah, that's a good girl. That's a good girl. That's a good girl, yes, good, come on. Olive, yeah, good girl, good girl, good girl. Yes, that's a good dog. No, okay, so a little jumping there. I went ahead and just activated the collar. Good girl, good girl. Okay, so she put it in her mouth, but she dropped it there. That's okay. Olive. Yeah, good girl. Good girl. Good girl, mama. Olive. Yeah, good dog. Good dog. Olive. Yes, come on, come on. Good girl. Good girl. Good girl. Come on, come on. Olive. Olive. Yeah, good girl. Good girl. Good girl, mama. Let's go. Good. Olive. Good. Good girl. So you see what I'm doing there, right? I'm walking her forward, and then I let her take a little bit of the leash and go out in front of me, and then I pedal backwards and call her name, right? So like this. Olive. Olive. And I bring her to me. Good girl. Good girl. Right? And I'm just trying to pinpoint that her effort of coming towards me is getting me to praise her, okay? Olive. Olive, yeah, good girl. Good girl. Good. So I'm trying to mark and reward when she's doing what I want her to do. Olive, yeah, good girl. Good girl. Good girl. Good girl, mama. Olive, yeah, good girl. Good girl. Good girl. Yes, good girl. That's a good dog. Olive, good girl, mama. Right here, right here. No? Okay. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Good girl. Olive, Olive. Good, so when she totally pulls out like that, Olive, good girl. We want to go ahead and call her name right away and try to get her to come back to us as soon as she pulls out like that. Olive, good girl, mama, good girl. Yes, let's go. Olive. Yeah, good girl. Good girl. Good girl. Yes. Olive. Yeah, good girl, mama. Good girl. Good girl. Good girl. Good, so just adjust the collar there again. Good girl. Let's see, no, so she's still got to get a little bit more comfortable, but she's following right now. Actually, she's not following too. There we go. Good girl. Too much, meaning she's responding to me, but she's not following on her own, right? She's responding. Come on, mama. She's just getting distracted over here still. Olive. Good girl, but she's responding, so that's great. That's right what I'm looking for right now. Okay, not eating that food just quite yet, but I think through our next session, we'll be there. That's a good girl, mama. Yes. That's a good girl. So see, yeah, good. So I didn't call her name there, but just engaged the collar just a little bit, and she went ahead and turned and came to me, which is what I'm looking for in terms of, good, come on. her responding to the leash. Yes, good girl. Good girl, Mama. That's a good dog. Yay, good. So I think we'll end right there. She's starting to pay attention to me a little bit more, responding, engaging. She's gonna get more comfortable in the environment, and we'll build. I like the state of mind that she's in, and I think she's gonna be good in our next session. That's a good girl, Mama. What's up? What's up, baby girl? What's up? What's up? That's good.